everyone, welcome to another episode of Solar Tech. Are you in search for a budget smartphone? Then I may have an option for you to consider right here with the Samsung Galaxy A12 non-5G. I will be giving the Samsung Galaxy A12 a comprehensive test drive, looking at areas such as hardware and design, software, features, and of course the cameras. With that said, let's get started. Here we have the Samsung Galaxy A12 device. This one is actually the 64GB model, matte finish on the rear with the quad camera setup. Go into that a little later. In the box, you also get the obligatory paperwork, quick start guide, and a warranty card. So you get a Type-C cable, and you also get the 15-watt charger. Pretty simple. Last but not least, you do get a SIM ejector tool. As you can see, there are no headphones with this unit. I am aware some regions do receive it. Again, I'm not sure how Samsung allocate who receives headphones and who doesn't, but it's not a deal breaker. Also, phones are coming nowadays without headphones, so it's not a big deal. In addition to those, I've also purchased a screen protector. And also I've purchased a case. This here will protect the camera setup on the rear of the phone. I'll leave a link for these two items in the description below. Also, whilst we're here, if this is your first time visiting the channel, a subscribe to the channel would be fantastic. And just to note, it is free to do. This phone comes with 4G. There is no 5G, but with 5G still being developed, this phone would definitely last a few good years. You also get 4GB of RAM. In terms of processor, it runs off the MediaTek Helio P35, and since using it, I have not experienced any issues with apps crashing. You also get Android 10, which is pre-installed, along with One UI, so hardware and software are working seamlessly. And I'm sure in the not too distant future, I should receive update for Android 11. Also, you get 64GB of internal storage, although I do want to address that area. So if we go to device care, so by that we go first through settings. Okay, before we go further, in this blue bar here, it does say a software update is available. So that's definitely referring to Android 11, but I'll deal with that outside this tutorial. Okay, so let's go back to where we were. So we're looking for device care. Okay. Okay, so we're looking at this second option from the top, which is the storage. And so here, the green part here represents the storage that's already used, which is 16.5. But for this exercise, I'm just going to use the number 16. It's just easier and it's round. So as we can see, the phone comes with 64GB of internal storage, but the stock apps account for 16GB of bloatware, leaving you with 48GB. Which is not fair, and all manufacturers are guilty of this practice. In this case, Samsung could provide a maximum internal storage capacity of 80GB. So when you deduct the stock apps of 16GB of bloatware, you are left with 64GB, which for me is much fairer, because not everyone is savvy in making this distinction when purchasing phones. Another option Samsung could adopt in reducing the bloatware is to not have Google and Samsung apps running side by side, as it duplicates resources and eats into the internal storage capacity, as I have mentioned. For instance, do you need Google Pay and Apple Pay running alongside Samsung Pay? I'm not sure you do, but I do understand why they do it. And that's for a different forum. Samsung may argue to offset the storage discrepancy, there is the option to extend the storage capacity. For me, that still does not address the issue of marketing the phone as 64 gigabytes when I have proven you are actually getting 48 gigabytes, which is what it should be marketed as. For instance, you would not go and buy a 2-litre engine car and after purchase find out that the car was actually a 1.5-litre engine. Lastly, one alternative is you could consider uninstalling some of the pre-installed apps to reduce the bloatware, but you're really going to struggle to reduce 16 gigabytes. This phone was released in the UK in January of this year, and it retailed at £169, about $230. I bought it from Amazon a month after release for £150, which is about $207. So, lovely deal there. I've also left a link below. I also noticed after purchase, the price has reduced. So you should be able to get a good deal when purchasing outright. Besides this black color, the phone comes in other colors such as white and a turquoise blue. However, do note prices vary according to the color. I chose this black because it was the cheapest. In terms of the screen, has a 6.5-inch diagonal display. The resolution is 720p with minimal bezels, although the chin is slightly thicker. Notwithstanding, you still get a good 85% screen to body ratio, which is good for content watching. Just to know, I do not cover gaming as I am not a gamer, but I can imagine this large screen would be intuitive to gaming. The phone also has a teardrop front facing camera, which is 8 megapixels and can record in HD 1080p at 30 frames per second, which is good for a budget phone of this caliber. Okay, moving on. In terms of weight, this phone weighs 205 grams, which is not too heavy. I think it's okay, considering it has a 5000 milliamp battery inside. The front is made of Corning Gorilla Glass 3, and when we turn over, we can see that for 3/4 of the phone, the back here, it has a lovely textured feel, and this is a bit smoother the last quarter. So obviously it's made of plastic and it's nice to hold. You don't feel like it's going to slip out of your hands. And the other thing I love about it is that it's not a fingerprint magnet. In terms of the camera setup, as you can see, it's a quad camera setup. I will cover this a little later, but just while we're here, I love the fact that the camera bump is very minimal, and obviously if you lay it in a flat surface, you will get some rock in there, but once you put a case on that, that will fix the problem. Okay, So the other thing to note with this phone is that there is no IP rating. That should not be a deal breaker, because you have a flagship phone like the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 2, which costs $2,000, and that does not have an IP rating either. So who's laughing now? Okay, so let's just do a quick walk around the phone. Just start from top here. So just nothing much at the top here, just a microphone just here. Okay, then we turn over and we have this is the volume rocker, followed by the on off button, and it is also the fingerprint scanner. Yeah, I like that they're housed in the same place. And the fingerprint scanner is responsive. In terms of unlocking the phone, you have 4 options, such as either password, a pattern, fingerprint scanner, or facial recognition. Okay, so let's just swap around. The other thing I like about this phone is that you also have NFC, so you can use Apple and Google Pay services. So that's nice, that's good. Okay, let's move on. Get this into focus. Okay, so at the bottom here we have the single speaker. We have space for a Type-C port. We have another microphone, and right here, one of my favorite things, which is becoming a dying art nowadays, is space for a 3.5mm headphone jack. It's really good. Like I said, they're becoming distinct with most phones nowadays. And then nothing here, and then just at the top here you have the SIM tray holder. Now that SIM tray holder will hold 2 nano SIMs plus space for a micro SD card with an expandable storage up to 1 terabyte, which is really good. And again, just to put things into perspective, you have the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 2, again as I mentioned, which costs $2,000. That comes with 256 gigabytes of internal storage, and that is it. And that is it. And then, as I alluded to earlier, even that 256 gigabytes, once you include the stock apps, who knows, you may only be left with maybe 190, I'm just guessing, or maybe, maybe just, who knows, maybe 220 or thereabouts. So again, this is really good. The phone comes with a huge 5000 milliamp battery, which can take a couple of hours to charge from 0% to 100%. Alternatively, you can use the 15-watt charger for a fast charge. For example, if your battery is at 0%, a 30-minute charge will give you 20% battery life to get you on your way. Even with heavy usage, the battery should last you all day. Also, when making and receiving calls, the device is sharp, clear, even when using the loudspeaker. Again, this will depend on your network coverage area. So here we are on the rear of the phone. We have the quad camera setup, and I shall go through each of the 4 lenses, starting here with the macro camera lens, which is 2 megapixels. Below that we have the depth camera lens, Again, that is also 2 megapixels. On the other side, top left here, we have the ultra wide camera lens, which is 5 megapixels. And last but not least, we have the main camera lens, which is 48 megapixels. What I should do a little later is take a combination of photos and video footage so you can see the quality of these lenses. Whilst we're here, I thought I'd give you a quick run through of the camera app. So let's take it from there. So as you can see, you've got the option of photo, live focus, video modes, and let's just tap in on this one. That gives you the ultra wide, and same again for video. You can go into ultra wide. Then when we go to live focus, you have the option to blur. So very similar to the bokeh effect, and that's great. Then we move along, see what we have under more. So you've got a few other options here, and obviously you have the pro mode, and when we tap on that, you get a couple of other functions. So you can change the ISO and the white balance. Pretty self-explanatory. And with all these modes, what you can do is also change the aspect ratio. So those are your options at the top there. That went quite quickly. I'll just then again, you can see, so it's pretty good. Again, you can timer, lighting, other effects. Just here, just go back a little bit. Here, the deco pick, basically that's just fancy thing, you know, for maybe adding extra features to someone's selfie. Okay, then whilst we're here, just want to go over one little neat feature of this phone. Because of the large size of this phone, sometimes it can be a little bit tricky taking photos. So you may have your hand one end and the shutter button is at the other end. Well, I'm going to show you how you can have a floating shutter button, which can make life a lot easier. So to do that, we tap on the settings, we scroll up until we find shooting methods, and so here we are. We select the floating shutter button option, and then we can go back to the camera, and there you go, you have the floating shutter button. So that makes things a lot easier when taking pictures, because as I said, this is a big phone, and with that shutter button you can even move it anywhere you see fit. So that's going to make taking photos a lot easier. And then once you're done, then you just put it back to there, and then obviously if you need it, you can always move it around. And that's pretty much it. And obviously, just one last thing here, this one is just to rotate to take a selfie. One of the standout features I like about this camera app, especially for a budget phone of this caliber, is the ability to zoom in on the subject. So to do that, what we do is just pinch on it like this, and we have some options here. We can go 2 times zoom, 4 times zoom, all the way up to 10 times zoom. Okay, just so you know, it disappeared, but that's fine. You just zoom out and then it will go back to wherever you left off. Okay, so let's take that all the way up to 10 times zoom. Again, yes, you get some graining, but I still think for budget phone of this caliber, there's some nice pictures. So now we'll take it down to 1 times zoom, and then the same also applies in video mode. Again, we pinch the screen, and again we can go all the way up to 10 times zoom. Again, yes, you get some graining, but again, for a budget phone, this is really nice feature. Just to make you aware that when you're in live focus, there is no ability to zoom in your subject. So just demonstrating there, the messages at the bottom. But again, like I said, you've got the option in photo mode and in video mode, and that should be ample. Okay, now I am recording using the front-facing camera. You can record at HD 1080p, and in terms of the color vibrancy, it's not too saturated. You can judge. This is the video quality using the rear facing camera. You can record at full HD, which is 1920 by 1080, and again at 30 frames per second. For this part of this tutorial, I will be going over 2 or 3 features on this phone which are really useful. Unfortunately, due to time constraints, I'm unable to cover all of them, but what I will do is make a separate video going into a lot more features, so watch this space. Okay, to start with, I will show you how to implement the battery percentage. To do that, what we do is go to settings. Okay, tap on there. Then if we tap on this one here, we'll select show battery percentage. We tap on it again, and it will be the last option. Once we've highlighted that, you'll see that the battery percentage will show at the top here. So let's do that without further ado. Bingo, there you have it. Due to the large screen on this phone, it is difficult to use one-handed. So I will now show you how to use it in one-handed mode. So we start off by going to our settings. We select advanced features, and then we go down until we find one-handed mode. We select the one-handed mode option, and as you can see, we have 2 ways of reducing the display size, either via gesture or via button. I like the button option, and as it says here, double tap the home button to do so. Once that's done, select the home button, and now we can double tap on the home button, and there we have the one-handed mode. Now sometimes you will see a blue line around the one-handed mode. What that allows you to do is to resize the one-handed mode if you find that maybe that's too small, but that size is the smallest that you will get. Okay, so as you can see, it's just much more easier to manage, nice and simple. So yeah, that's much more user friendly. What you can do also is tap on this arrow here, and it will shift it to the right and then back here to the left. Again, this will depend whether you're right-handed or left-handed. And then also, once you've finished doing whatever you need to do, just tap anywhere in the black bar there, and then it returns back to its original size. We have now come across my favorite feature of this phone, and that's the ability to use it as a split screen, which is really handy when multitasking. So let's crack on. Go here, select YouTube, select the bottom here. What should we choose? Let's choose the calculator, and we will choose the first option where it says open in split screen view.
Okay, now we'll choose the second app. So let's choose YouTube. And as you can see, we have them running side by side or one on top of each other. The other good thing we can do with this is change the ratio, so we may want more of the calculator, less of YouTube, and vice versa. We can do the same. It's great. In the middle here, we can tap on here and we can rotate them, so we now have YouTube at the top and the calculator at the bottom. Let's try and play something. Let's see if that works. And the other beauty with this as well is that it will also operate from its current portrait position to landscape. Okay, so I should demonstrate that. There we go. And as we did previously, we can change the ratio, which is great. And if we tap in the middle, we can reverse. I really like that, so you can be using the calculator whilst watching the video on the other side.
So just to conclude, I hope the topics covered today have been of benefit in helping you to decide whether the Samsung Galaxy A12 is for you. Again, this video is not sponsored in any shape or form. I am merely giving you my experience of using the phone on a daily basis. If you already have the phone, have you learned something new today? If you have enjoyed this tutorial, please hit the subscribe button below, which is free. A like would also be fantastic, all of which help to grow the channel. If you have any questions, again, please raise them below in the comment section, and I will be more than happy to respond. Anyway, my name is Shola. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.